Hail to you. Welcome to Chuntcast. Grab your drinking horn and gather around the fire pit as we discuss comics, gaming, movies, and pop culture. Like and subscribe if you haven't already to become a member of the Chunt Call, Skal. By the might of Mjolnir, I am the king of this realm, Uncle Chunt. I hope you've all been great ones to you and yours. Welcome to a new installment of Chuntcast for the week. So today we're going to be talking about an Ask Chunt topic. We got Palworld. I just want to give my thoughts on what Palworld is, and anyway, and then we've got the Xbox Direct to talk about that happened today. Right, so we've got a few games to talk there, so that'll carry us through to the rest of the episode. So I just want to give you a bit of a recap on what this episode is up front, and let's hook right into it. Hope you're doing very well. It's the end of a new week, right, and we've got a new week to start yet coming up. I'm looking forward to settling in this weekend, playing some games, potentially Sea of Thieves with my wife, and maybe just catch up on some back catalogue stuff. I've got a whole bunch of games that I've yet to get to. I want to finish Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I want to play Metroid Prime. I haven't touched that since I bought it. I've got Super Mario RPG I've yet to even install or get out of its packaging. I want to play Gotham Knights. Right, so I'm just rattling off some games here that I want to play. I've got to finish Hogwarts Legacy yet. It's just been pretty hectic lately, and you know how it is. By the time you get some free time, you're just drained and you just want to do nothing and chill out. But anyway, that's what I plan to do this weekend, and I can't show it to you right now, but I know last week I talked about the DC McFarlane multiverse, McFarlane DC multiverse figures that I've just started getting into. And my wife had the brilliant idea of, I wanted to display them somehow. Like, if I was going to get into this, how would I display them? And I always, play sets, man. Like, I don't know if you grew up in the era of play sets, like the He-Man Grayskull, right? Castle Grayskull. I've got the modern one, the Netflix one. It's awesome. Snake Mountain. Then you've got the G.I. Joe flag carrier, all that kind of stuff. The Thundercats, the Cat Mountain, whatever it is. I love that stuff, that iconography, that epic feel. Right. So Justice League, what would I do? Right. There's either the Hall of Justice or the Justice League Watchtower satellite. Right. It'd be an interior, of course. But anyway, so my wife had the idea of, well, what about getting a Barbie house? Right. What? Just bear with me. What about if you get a Barbie dream house and then repaint it? The colors of the Hall of Justice or the Justice League Watchtower, right? And I was like, ooh, so that's a really cool idea. So yeah, anyway, so I have a Barbie dream house in my room. I can't show it to you, but it's massive. It's bigger than I thought it was going to be, but the figures scale very, very well indeed. To the point, it's like, well, I went to a Facebook group it's just a group full of people that collect these figures and share their pickups and their displays and whatnot. So I thought, I'm going to I'm going to go out on a limb here and share my find to the group. It's a bit of a leap. I'm a new member, and this toy line's a few years old, and I'm just starting here, and here I am going, yeah, bugger it. Hey, Barbie Dreamhouse. Anyway, so I posted it. And this dream house has lights and stuff inside, and it changes color to like blue or green or purple or whatever it is. But so I took a photo of a Green Lantern figure inside the house with all the green lights on at night, and took a photo of it, before and after, of like lights on, lights off, and just explain what my take is, and of how I want to customize it completely to look like the interior of the Hall of Justice or the Watchtower. I'm deciding what it is. Anyway, so I posted it, and I got some pretty good support out of it. A lot of blokes in there like, oh wow, you know what? That's a really great idea. Wow. Keep us posted. Post your progress and see what show us what it looks like when you're done. One guy's like, oh my daughter's got a Barbie dream house that I don't even use anymore, man. I might give it a go myself. So I'm a trendsetter, mate. Bloody trendsetter. Oh yes. So I can't wait. I'm gonna go out and get some spray cans of like metallic silver paint or gold paint, whatever it is. You know, the Hall of Justice, if you don't know, it's this dome-looking building. It's based off an actual building that exists, and it looks very regal and Art Deco, and you know, it's anyway. The dollhouse, the dream house, actually has the facade of like brickwork and stuff. So I think it's probably a good idea that I go for a Hall of Justice vibe, which is fine. And yeah, so look, in my mind, I can see it. But if you're looking at it, it's like Barbie beach house, dream house stuff, you know, and you can't see past it. I'm going to gut out all the stickers and all the fake scenery out the windows and stuff like that. And I'm going to replace it with, you know, Justice League monitors, you know, screens. I'm going to Photoshop and print out a bunch of screens that have like events happening around the world and, you know, proper Justice League type stuff. And I've got this giant circle piece of wood that I'm going to turn into a Justice League round table and miniature chairs and stuff. So yeah, I'm going full in, mate. Like, it's just ridiculous. You can see all these, all those who are watching, you can see all my Transformers behind me here. And I want to do a massive Cybertron display one day. You know, whenever I get a chance to live the dream and own a home, you know, I'll get my own room just for my collection and my studio, and I'll do up a proper Cybertron display. You know, get them off these shelves. But anyway, enough about that. I don't know why I went into that massive rant and diatribe about it, but I'm really excited about it. We went and drove, like, it took us an hour and a half to go out and pick it up and come back. And, you know, you just take a shot and hopefully it's in good condition. It is in good condition. The electronics work just fine, but it needs a bloody good cleanup. You know, just grubby kids all over it. How dare they play with their dollhouse? How dare they? How dare they? They should know a 38-year-old man one day would pick it up. Anyway, it's cool. You know, you just got to see the potential in something, take a shot. You know, put your male ego aside. Just give it a go, you know. Just give it a bloody go. Anyway, so what are we going to talk about today? Like I said, Ask Chunt. We got Palworld and the Xbox Direct. So let's get right into it, shall we? Whoa, I messed that up. I want to do that again. Excellent. I'm a bit trigger happy. I've had a coffee and some sugar. I had one of these caramel slice things, so I'm a bit wired right now. So let's get into it. So Ask Chunt. Yes. Skal. Here we go. So this comes from Tate Morales. Yes. RC. Skal. Sorry, mate. Short time viewer. First time Ask Chunter. Well, welcome, short time viewer. And first time Ask Chunter. I like that. Ask Chunter. Cool. Given all the OG, right? Sorry, I'm not up in lingo. Given all the OG YouTubers quitting lately and putting up their attention hogging vids, okay, but then saying they're not actually quitting. What's your take? Being a smaller channel, does it make you think? Bye. Sorry, mate. It took me a few goes to read that. My apologies. All right. Look, yeah, it is what it is. Like, if you do something long enough, let's just say, okay, if I was one of these YouTubers that are going around, for those of you who don't know, Tate is correct. There's a bunch of YouTubers putting up all these videos in the last month or whatever, over the last few weeks saying, you know, oh, I'm done, or I quit, or, you know, I'm out, you know, I'm stopping YouTube and all this kind of stuff. You know, it happens. You see these people fall off the platform or whatever it is. But a lot of these, it's raising alarm bells because you've got some of these creators who are like literal 15-year veterans on the platform. You know, just the OG crew who, look, to be honest, mate, I think these people are just, they see where YouTube's gone and where it's going, right? There was a period of time where YouTube was, you know, it could be successful for anybody, right? You didn't need to run the rat race that is of the algorithm, right? So you've got these people that are running, you know, 15-year long successful channels, and even PewDiePie, people like him, creators like him, where even he can't get the amount of volume of views that he used to get, right? But he's still one of the biggest channels on the platform. Meanwhile, you've got all these Mr. Beasts and the clones of Mr. Beast running around like it's the 90s and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, was the biggest thing. And then you've got all these Ninja Turtle clones just trying to mimic that success, right? I personally don't like what YouTube's turned into. Right? I just don't. It used to be cool, man. I used to really enjoy YouTube and finding those channels that really click with you, those people that are running the channels or people that are putting themselves out there. Like I miss the raw kind of YouTube. Everything's so production heavy these days, right? And I don't have any issue with, okay, so me, for argument's sake, I know, yeah, I'm a small channel, small ass, mate. Like it's just, I'm lucky to have the amount of subscribers that I do. I'm aware of that. But even for me, like, man, I'd like to up the quality of my videos, and have like a secondary camera that I can change to just to keep the visual a bit more interesting rather than just being on me all the time, or be in a proper room that's done up like thematically to my channel. Like the presentation these days goes a long way, right? Like the visual is a big part of it, but audio is also like a massive part of your presentation, and audiences are very savvy today, right? If they hear, like even me, I'm guilty. If I watch a video that's got a bad audio, right, I'm kind of not as engaged as I normally would. And that sounds bad, I get it. But look, I watch a lot of toy reviewers and, people that are actually showing a figure or, a collection item or whatever it is. But, so I can look past that. So I watch a lot of Transformers reviewers or DC Multiverse reviewers just because, if I've pre-ordered a figure, I want to know these people that get it before me. I want to know like if it's worth keeping or getting, or those people that get advanced review copies of figures. I want to know, cool, if I'm interested, I'll watch their stuff. But I'm less inclined to critique those YouTubers or those YouTube channels if they've got bad audio or bad video, because I just want to see what it is, to validate my purchase, basically, or to see if I actually want the item, before putting the money down or the pre-order down. But if it's stuff like what I do, like my channels like me, or like mine, or those who are actually producing something, like actually editing a video together that's showing me like how to draw something, or a class, or a lesson, or a how-to type video, or anything that interests me, like a talking head kind of channel or a podcast or whatever it is, right? I'm less inclined to keep engaged with that, and that's just because of my I guess my standards, and that sounds really pretentious because my standards, I'm bottom of the barrel, mate. But I know there's people that don't have the nice microphone or the nice camera, which I think I've done pretty well with the equipment that I've gathered, without investing too much money into this, right, so far. But yeah, totally. Like being a small channel, if I had the money, mate, like I'd do up this room, or I'd buy a house and do up a room in that house just to facilitate this, what I do. Like, not have all the figures around me so much, or theme the background and make it really presentable, like I'm putting my best self out there, which is I always, that's what I'm trying to do. Like it might not seem like it, but this is the best I can do with what I've got right now, right? I got this nice new camera and this nice microphone with the Rodecaster Pro deck, just to improve the audio because I can't do everything great, but if I can at least make the listening experience and the somewhat visual experience, even with this mug, it goes a little bit further, right? So anyway, where am I going with that? So you've got these massive channels these days that are so high production, right? It's like you're watching an actual TV show, right? And I kind of I miss the YouTube that was, I miss the YouTube that was just a little bit rough, a little bit raw, a little bit honest. It was just genuine stuff, right? And now it's so produced, it's so like tame, so like the channels that I watch I still gravitate more to the channels that are like me, right, that are raw, that are just keep it on the fly, shoot from the hip, just see where it goes, just have a conversation. Not everything's so polished or thought out. I structure these shows sometimes just to give myself talking points to keep myself on topic, right? But that's about it, right? And I mean, there's a lot more behind the scenes that you don't know of what I do, even from my little show. But I like that. The person and the you of YouTube's gone. Like, and if it is there, but it's very difficult to find, right? And I don't like the YouTube that it's come into. So I don't blame some of these YouTubers who are just piecing out because it's too much, right? Even doing this, like you don't know, but if you're not running or trying to keep your channel active, it's a lot of work, right? You actually got to sit a few hours aside on the night just to do, record it, upload it. And while it's uploading, you got to do the thumbnail, do all the tags, get the description, schedule your posts, cut it up, to upload later and to other social accounts. And, if you do that, right? But then if you're doing it at the scale that some of these other massive channels are doing, I think it just gets away from them, and it's so much work, and they're awake. Like from the feedback that I see on these videos, and I just, even from my perspective, Lane, I find myself frequently checking my studio app, right, just to see, how'd that video do? I'm just curious, or did anyone new find my channel today? Is this actually happening? Is this working? Or what happened to that video? Like, oh, no one saw that one. Okay, it is what it is. And you start thinking about that stuff. You overanalyze, and if you think about it at their level, where they've actually got employees, and that's their livelihood, they got families, they need the income. And if a video doesn't do well, then it's less money. And, that over time, over 15 years, when you look at the platform declining and advertisers declining and all that kind of stuff, you have to imagine that there's a potential for these bigger YouTubers that are like, look, I'm currently on top, or I'm dipped a little bit. I see the writing on the wall. I think it's time to go, right? I'm going to go relax. I'm going to go take all my money that I've earned and just go retire. And you can't blame them, because I could imagine doing this full time is extremely stressful, right? And even for me, I do this between, like on a Friday night at the end of the week. If I can find a few hours, I'll do it. But then I find myself constantly checking over the weekend of my uploads and who's engaging and if I'm getting any engagement at all, because, I want to grow this. I'd love to grow this channel. I really would. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But I like doing this for what it is. But even at this small scale level, even I find myself distracted by the numbers. And I don't like that so much, right? So I do empathize with a lot of these larger channels who it might have just grown into something that it's not what they loved, right? It's not what they did. It's not what they started YouTube for, and it's gone away from them and it got too big. And they're just like, you know what? No, like this isn't what I wanted, right? Maybe they did it one time, right? Maybe they're like, yeah, the fame, the money, the opportunities, it's all good, but maybe they're just past it, right? They've got families now. And anyway, well, I'm saying all this kind of stuff like I actually know what it's like, but I don't, but I can empathize with it. So that's my take on it. I don't blame them, right? I really don't. And maybe it's just the passing of the guard, so to speak, with some of these other channels where they're just quitting. Maybe someone else gets the algorithm favored after them, right? In the power vacuum, if you will. Maybe it's an opportunity for others to step in, right? There's so many people on YouTube, it's not funny. So, look, the video is frozen at a really inopportune facial expression, but it is what it is. Hopefully it catches up with itself very shortly. There we are. I don't know why that happens. This bloody OBS application does that from time to time. But anyway, that's my take and just my general thoughts on the platform and what it is. Like, am I a hypocrite for saying I would love this channel to grow and be successful after just saying I don't like what YouTube's turned into? Maybe you could see it that way, but who doesn't want success in something that they enjoy doing, right? Yes, I mean, I could foresee a point if this grew into something and it was all encompassing over years of time. Maybe it's like, okay, but honestly, no. Like, if I could do this as my full-time job, and earn an income to support myself and my wife, and get into my own personal endeavors, like the creative stuff that I could do if I had the time. I could do comic books, right? I can write and draw comic books, but I just need the time to do it. I could do more production-based episodes like this, or actually film some stuff, or do thought pieces on certain things that I want to talk about, or just maybe do this a lot better. Do some web comics or webtoons or something like that. There's a lot of stuff that I'd love to do, but alas, the real world, you need an income. You can't just not a lot of us, and particularly myself, not a lot of us are in a position where we could just bail on a job and go do what you like, right? But if you are, like I praise anybody that does it. I actually know of 2 people that have quit their jobs because their social media has been able to support them. And it's like, hey, mate, that's awesome. Like, good on you. Yeah, but they're real niche stuff, and I'm not interested in what they're doing, but I do acknowledge their success, and it's great. So good on them. Anyway, that's a long answer. But anyway, Tate Moradas, thanks for your viewership and your attendance and finding my channel. I mean, if you do watch this, hit me up on X or whatever you want to call it, or leave a comment below of like, where you're from, and say good day. So I appreciate that, mate. Cool. All right, next up, we've got a Pokemon type game to talk about. Actually, I don't quite know what to think of it. It's a bit beyond me. And anyway, let's get into it, shall we? Excellent. So, Palworld, right? Let's discuss this, shall we? I'll bring up, get rid of this thing. Here we are. I'll play the video in the background and hopefully I don't get pinged. But I'm going to put this video on loop. So what is Palworld? Okay. Palworld is this Pokemon-esque. I've got the video cut off a little bit because I'm a little paranoid about content ID and yes, this is transformative and discussion and all that kind of stuff, but I just don't trust the platform. So if it's skewed a bit, I do apologize, but I wanted some visual aid there. You can still see it for those who are watching at home, and I'm just explaining that to the audio listeners. So Palworld, if you look at it at face value, it's like, oh, it's a new Pokemon type game, but it's really not. It looks like it's verging on IP breach, and I'm lucky. I mean, they're lucky to. I'm surprised there's been no cease and desist, but I guess they can't, because when you get further into acknowledging what Palworld is, it's essentially Palworld as Pokemon with guns, right? And I lost immediate interest as soon as I saw the gunplay. Like, this game kind of had my attention up until I saw the fact that it's just another kind of multiplayer shooter type game. It's an open shared world with other players. There's a tower defense, or you protect your base type element to it. There's tower building, whatever it's called, crafting and all that kind of stuff. It's just like, oh man, it's if you think of games like Valheim or Ark or whatever, like those kind of games where you build your base and you've got to grind for building up your materials and defensive, like tower defense type strategies, and then you got to go defend your base, and it's like, oh man, I don't know who thought this was a good idea. I might be wrong. Let's face it, I probably am. But am I alone in that? Right? Am I just look at it. This is bizarre. I mean, good on him. I mean, wow. There's some Pokemon in that shot just then that looks like seriously just verging on IP breach or copyright. It's just trademark central. But hey, look, good on him. If it finds a crowd, it finds a crowd, right? But seriously, I don't know who this is for. Okay, so is it a meme? Is it just trying to be a meme? Right? Is it self-aware? I just think, why wouldn't they just lean right into the Pokemon type elements of the game? Right? I mean, the graphics alone are way better than Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet and Arceus. Like, it's already a visually superior game, right? And it looks like it's got a lot of gameplay mechanics that are similar but different enough to Pokemon, even without the guns. Right? Why does it need guns? I'm so sick of a lot of games having guns, man. Like, seriously, it's boring. How many shooty bang bang games do you need? They're all the same. I mean, the good thing is it's coming to Game Pass, right? So I'll probably dip in and give it a go. Apparently, it's available to play. I mean, this trailer is playing now. I've got this trailer on loop, so I've got some visual aid there to discuss this. But oh, look, I was ready for another Pokemon. Right, Arceus is my favorite Pokemon game of all time. Pokemon Legends Arceus, I think that's a stellar game. I loved it, 100%ed that game. I played Scarlet and Violet with my wife. We played that during our honeymoon. I had the Scarlet version, she had the Violet. And we were playing that across Mexico in hotels and stuff like that as we were traveling. And that game has a real soft, safe place in my soul. I've got the Steelbook edition for both versions, and one day I'm going to frame it as a bit of a memorial piece. One of those kind of moments of that's it. That was our game, right? During our honeymoon. So Pokemon, I've always enjoyed Pokemon, but I haven't played all the games. I like Blue. I'm an old school G1er. I like Pokemon Blue. I really loved Leaf Green and Let's Go Pikachu. I really liked that game. I don't care what anyone says. I really liked that. It was just such nostalgia for me. But I didn't really like many other games. Pokemon X. That was brilliant. And I mean, you can probably see a common trend here, but Pokemon Arceus was just exactly the game that I needed. That was exactly the Pokemon game that I was looking for, just something different, something unique. And it actually felt like something new, right, for the series to finally come out. But anyway, Palworld, I personally think they've shat the bed, right? I think they could have something really golden and challenging the status quo of like Pokemon being the premier kind of pocket monster type game. Like I know there's other stuff like Digimon just doesn't seem to be able to succeed. I know it's probably huge in other markets, but it's not big here in Australia, and I don't think it's overly that big in comparison in America either. Like I don't think Digimon found its crowd outside of the original like G1 series or Generation 1 series, or however you want to refer it to. But I remember it coming on Australian TV, and I was familiar with the Tamagotchi type stuff. I know that's what it was all about, but it was never the cool thing on the playground when I was growing up, right? And I don't really know many people that speak very fondly about Digimon in all of my lifetime. Very few people that I know are like, oh yeah, Digimon rules, man. I don't know anyone in my entire life that prefers Digimon over Pokemon, right? But this game, when I saw it announced ages ago, I was like, hey, here we go, right? Someone's taken up the plate, right? But they let me down and lost my interest entirely, with it being a multiplayer open world, shared world, gun shooter, bang bang, base builder, protector, defense tower game. Just all this kind of stuff. I was like, yeah, no, I'm done. I'll not invest in this game. Thank you. All right. Anyway, I'm happy to be told that I'm wrong and I should give it a go, or, pull the stick out of my bum, or whatever you want to tell me. But what are your thoughts? Like, I personally, I'm ready for another Pokemon game, right? Like a new one. With hopefully a better engine. Like this one looks pretty for the most part compared to Scarlet and Violet, right? I really like the art style of Arceus, and I think that's one way they got around the engine's limitations was by leading into a more simplistic art style. But even then, it wasn't the prettiest game either, or the most technically impressive on the Switch. And we know what the Switch can do. There's some actual stellar, like stunning looking games that have come out on the Switch, even on that anemic hardware. So there's no real excuse. But anyway, that's going on another topic pattern that could be spoken to at length. But anyway, tell me what you think of Palworld. Have you played it? Are you even aware of this before I spoke to it here? Are you now intrigued to go give it a go? I'm interested to know. So please tell me below, and we'll lead into the next topic here and get into some of the Xbox Direct findings. And happy days. All right, excellent. Oh boy, I messed that up real bad. I started pressing play on the Xbox Direct video and I didn't scroll it back. But yeah, so the Xbox Direct came out earlier today actually, and I watched it with my wife just to kind of get some honest feedback on, I guess, a reaction element point of view. And I'm just going to leave that video there. Same deal. I don't want to get into kind of content strikes or anything like that, but I want to have a visual aid to speak to as we're going on here. So what was revealed? So we've got Avowed, Senua's Saga, Visions of Mana, some kind of Civ game, who the hell cares, and Indiana Jones. Okay, so I'll just give my brief thoughts on each, and try not to run too long on it, because I know the last episode is quite long, so I do Thank all those who watched that one all the way through. So yeah, you can see Obsidian Games and Ninja Theory and Machine Games and Oxide. You know, and then you've got Square Enix doing Visions of Mana. That was all the reveals. Spoiler alert for that Xbox Direct. That Visions of Mana reveal was quite cool. I was happy to see that. That's the first Mana game that's going to get released on Xbox ever, which is really cool. I mean, that's what they said in the video. Correct me if I'm wrong. But what I was hoping for, and I know I've jumped the gun on a few things here, but the Mana series, I've always been intrigued by it. I didn't realize how many Mana titles there were, right? I love Secret of Mana on the SNES. I think that's the best one. That's maybe my nostalgia talking, but I always wanted the remake to make it to Xbox, but it never did. I was hoping for a bit of a shadow drop. I don't know why, but who knows? Maybe if Visions of Mana is successful enough on Xbox, they'll consider porting out the other Mana games on Xbox as well. But Avowed, right? I know I spoke to Avowed in my last Chuntcast here about my thoughts on it and how I was kind of disappointed. I think this showing kind of satiated my expectations a little bit more, right? I think this might just be a good tie over, right? It might just tide some people over until Elder Scrolls 6, in a few years. I'm actually quite impressed with this showing, right? It didn't really show too much, right? The combat seems a bit like, some of the effects feels like it just lacked a little impact for me, but the game's really pretty, right? I think there's a bit more polish on this showing than there was the last time. Maybe I'm seeing things, but yes, it's very colorful. Apparently it's set in a part of this world that is a colorful environment. I mean, whatever. It's set in the Pillars of Eternity world, apparently, which is kind of cool. I've always been interested in that series, but I've always heard that it's a very heavy RPG. So you've really got to be into the stats of the game and all that kind of grinding or whatever. And please tell me I'm wrong, because I've always been I like a Diablo type game, and Diablo sometimes it seems a bit like meh sometimes, right? I was hyped to get Diablo 4, but I just didn't. I just didn't, and I hope this game is. I just hope it's not too basic, right? But I also don't want massively heavy RPG elements that are just overwhelming. Like I'll check out. I'll check out if it's too heavy, right? That's just I don't have that kind of ability to have a lot of focus time on games to spend a lot of times in menus and crunching numbers and whatnot. I just want to get in there and play. Right, which is what I liked about Starfield and Skyrim and Oblivion, Fallout 4 in particular. I love Fallout 4. Right, I know this is a totally different studio. It's Obsidian, but they did Fallout New Vegas. I didn't play that one, but I've heard it's really good. So look, I'm confident that this game will scratch that itch for some people. This showing didn't entice my appetite one way or the other. It's just kind of like, oh, look, it looks really pretty. We know more about the game. We know it's coming out this year. We know it's coming to Game Pass. So cool. I mean, that's great. That's great value coming to Game Pass. I do have my concerns, though. The conversation trees look still just standard stuff. Right? I was hoping that... I don't know. I was hoping for something a bit more. They'd do something different. Like I anticipated an Elder Scrolls type experience, right? Because why wouldn't they? Right? It's kind of a tried and true formula. But I mean, look. I mean, that looks really great. I mean, the graphics look great from this showing than it did to the first one. But it's just a bit stilted. I know Starfield's worse, right? The Starfield conversations are a lot more stilted than this is. So maybe I should ease off on it and just take it for what it is. But it looks like a very pretty game. Interesting character designs. I'm pretty intrigued by the world that they've shown there. Hopefully we get to do some like underground kind of spelunking. I used to love that in the Skyrim games. Where you just find like an entrance to a cave, like, ooh, and you go down there and there's you're down there for like an hour or something sometimes on the bigger ones, and you come out and you're like, oh, which way's up, and I hope this game, I do have my concerns that there's going to be every time like Skyrim or an Elder Scrolls game that you're just going to be in loading screens, right? As you enter a cave or as you come out of a cave or you go into a city, or you come out of a city, like it's loading. I thought the whole beauty about these new hard drives was that it's seamless, that you wouldn't have to do that anymore. And Starfield did that. It became a fast travel game. Even though Starfield was my game of the year last year, I still acknowledged that it was fast travel the game, right? And it took some of that fluidity and seamlessness away from my experience. So I do have my concerns here with Avowed. Look, otherwise, I'm intrigued by the game. The character designs are interesting. I want to know more about the world and what the story is. I think I might have missed the point if they mentioned a character creation system. I hope that there is one there. And maybe they'll show that at a future update. Or if you do get to create your own character. I'd like to see the options there because I'm always a fan of that kind of stuff. I mean, it helps you immerse yourself more into the game, right? Anyway, so look, what are your thoughts on Avowed? Are you hyped for this? Has this turned your needle one way or the other? I do enjoy these developer directs. I do like seeing the people behind the games. I do enjoy the conversations and the behind the scenes nuggets, and just, you know, I from an artist point of view, and like I wanted to be a storyboard artist or a concept artist at one point in my life, you know, and I potentially saw myself working in a place like this once upon a time, you know, being that artist who would draw concepts of locations or character designs and whatnot. So yeah, it does interest me to see and hear these people that are behind the products. And even with movie studios, I love seeing the behind the scenes stuff. So it's great that they showed a mix of the people and the gameplay. But anyway, so yeah, let me know what you think about Avowed. I hope it wins me over. I hope it's one of those games that's like, you know what, damn, like, this is a good new world for me, a good new title, a good new IP. And that's the other point, mate. Like, a new IP is very rare these days, right? In a world full of sequels or live service games, it's just refreshing to see an investment in a new IP that looks like a single player experience. More of that, please. Thank you. Yes. Cool. All right. So next we've got Senua's Saga. If I may skip ahead in this video a bit and get some visual on what that game is. Here we go. Ninja Theory doing Senua's Saga. Hellblade 2. Okay, so my thoughts on this. I cannot wait. To be honest, I really thoroughly enjoyed the first game when it finally came to Xbox. All right, I set some time aside because I heard all the hype and the banter about it on, you know, how the audio sensory experience and the atmosphere and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, okay, this can't be that good, right? And then I played it and I was immersed. Right, I had my headphones on. I got my new wireless Xbox headset that came out, and it had all the whiz bang stuff, the audio ability and the sonic sound, whatever the hell it is. And I was in it. I'm like, oh wow, like this is an experience. And at the time, I had a projector in my apartment that blew the image up to a pretty good looking image too, by the way, to like 100-inch screen equivalent. So I played it in the dark with a projector with the headphones on this massive wall of gameplay. A great experience. I tell you, I do miss that sometimes. I'm not going to lie. It was very difficult to reduce down to a 65-inch TV. But anyway, first world problems massively. Anyway, the new one. Okay, so yeah, bring it on, mate. Like, I'm glad that they mentioned in this where the bloke, forgive me for not mentioning his name, but he mentioned that this is Senua's Saga 2, focusing on, you know, the story and the atmosphere and the world of Senua for a shorter experience. You know, I like that, right? And some might think that's red flag material, but I like that, right? I like that it knows what it wants to do. It knows that it shouldn't overstay, right? And just gives you a powerful experience that's packed, right? It's not filler oriented. Like a lot of games could learn some lessons there of padding out games unnecessarily, right? For the sake of, oh, it's a 100-hour game or it's 50 hours. Yeah, 50 hours of gameplay. Yeah, but how much of it is actually meaningful, right? How much of it is actually enjoyable, right? So I'm really looking forward to this being that 10-hour experience or less, whatever it is. You know, it doesn't need to overstay its welcome. Just give me a good experience. Now, don't overstay. Make it memorable. You know, let me take away some things from it. and I'll go back and play that again, right? I'm more inclined to go back and play, a 4 or 6 hour campaign or a 10-hour campaign, right? Over a weekend. I miss that opportunity, right? I'm so sick of every game needing to be 30, 40 plus hours. It's obscene. Not everybody has that time, not everybody does, but like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, I love it. I love it, but it's so long. I kind of checked out, even though I want to go back and finish it. But I could have done with a more punchy experience from that one. So I'm looking forward to this one giving it to me, and like all the art involved in it, right? The imagery, the audio sensory care, like just the atmosphere of it all, even the showings that they've made already. It's like, wow, man, it looks great. I'm super hyped for it, and it's coming out May 21st, I believe they announced. I mean, that's not too far away. I can't wait, and it's Game Pass. I'm going to set aside a night or a weekend or whatever just to get through it or enjoy it. I mean, not just to get through it. That sounds bad, but just I want to get through it over a weekend and just lose myself for a weekend in this experience if I can, right? But I mean, bring it on. Like this is kind of what I've been looking for in games. Just not super short experiences, but just enough of an experience that I'm not checked out before the end, right? Maybe I'm just old school. Like, I really like the library of games on Xbox and PS2 and Xbox 360 and PS3, where the games were smaller. They weren't padded out with a whole bunch of stuff. They gave you that experience that you go, oh man, I'm just going to smash through the Gears campaign this weekend. I love it. Or hey, I'm going to play through Ultimate Spider-Man again, or whatever it is. Or Punisher on Xbox, or I'm going to play Killzone on PS2, or whatever it is. Right? I missed that ability. Like, yeah, what are you doing, mate, this weekend? Yeah, I'm going to go through that campaign again because I really had a good time. Whereas games these days, there's almost no end to some games or it's just like, hey, I really want to play X game again, but I put 180 hours into it just to get to the end. Can I justify another 180 hours of my life to that same game? No, right? Depending on how much you love it, right? Anyway, so I mean that's a topic for another time. But yeah, Senua Saga, I'm happy to see it. I'm happy to see what they've shown here. I'm glad that they put a date on it because I think that would have been a bit of a how's your father if they didn't commit or show a date, because they've shown enough of this game already. It just needs to come out as far as I'm concerned. Cool. Yeah, let me know what you think below. Are you keen for Hellblade 2, Senua Saga? Man, I sure am. It's probably the highlight for me out of this. And then after that, if I can skim ahead a bit, what have we got that's next? I believe it'll show us here. I think this is the Visions of Mana. It is. All right, so Square Enix did a bit of a shadow announcement, whatever the hell you want to call it, of a new game that's coming to Xbox. Again, I'm fully aware that it's probably going to come to PlayStation and Switch and PC. All the other Mana games are on PlayStation, PC, and Switch. They're not on Xbox, but it's great to see that Xbox is finally getting that Japanese support, drip by drip, but it's happening. I keep looking at this webcam rather than this one. I look at this camera for work, and I look at this one for outside of work. It's just, it gets distracted. Anyway, Secret of Mana. I thought at first that, when they started, Secret of Mana, they started talking about it. I'm like, oh my God, yeah, they're bringing like the Mana collection or something to Xbox. Cool, I'll be down for that. Or if anything, just give me the individual games and I'll pick them up as I go. Like particularly Secret of Mana, give me that remake. I want to play it. And my wife's like, but I've got it on the Switch. You can just play it there if you like. I'm like, no, no, you don't get it. Like, no, I want to play it on Xbox because that's my platform. I want to play it there, right? Because it's going to look better. I don't care what anyone says. It's a fact, right? If you play, like, the colors on the Switch aren't the best, right? I've played games that are on the Switch and on Xbox, right? And I've gone to the Xbox version, and there's a notable difference that there's such a vibrance different on Xbox compared to the Switch, right? So if I have my ability to play it on the Xbox, I'm going to, because it's going to look better. Even if it's not a graphically intensive game, it's going to look better anyway, just from a color perspective. You know, it'll probably be in 4K and all that kind of stuff. It is noticeable. I don't care what anyone says. Not that it matters at the end of the day, but if I had a choice, by God, you know, yes, I could probably go and just get it on my PS5. Yeah, I know that. Well, again, first world problems. If they don't bring Secret of Mana to Xbox, I'll bite the bullet and turn on my PS5. Hasn't been turned on for a while. Anyway, let's not go there. But yeah, I'm super excited to see this. I'm really happy. The game looks fun, man. I'm not gonna lie, the game looks fun. And I was sitting there thinking, you know what, this is up my alley. Like, I could see myself playing this. Right? The gameplay looks interesting and fun, and the art style. I've always enjoyed the art style of these games, and the music that they showed on display. Right? The music's always a highlight of this series. Like Square Enix games, far out. They've got some of the best music in gaming history, right? Just the orchestral arrangements and the memorable arrangements and songs over the years, like Final Fantasy and Secret of Mana. Like my goodness. And they played some of the music during this showing, and I was like, oh yes, it has that sound, right? It has that Secret of Mana sound. It has that Mana sound, right? I'm glad they captured that. But yeah, man, this game looks fun. I know this is early stages, but you can already tell how the game's coming across, and visually it looks nice. The art style looks nice. Combat looks fun, right? I'm keen to see more about it, right? And it was nice to see, like, this is a bit of a win for Xbox as far as I'm concerned, right? Mana games, they have a big fan base. There's like 30-something Mana games I didn't even know about, right? Until I saw this and they had all the titles running across the screen. I'm like, whoa, what? I thought there was Secret of Mana, Trials of Mana, and something of Mana. And I thought that was it, you know? And now this one, Visions of Mana, I believe this is called. So yeah, bring it on. And the art style, I mean, look at this. The artwork is just stunning. I love this stuff. I love looking at the concept art behind games, right? Particularly games that are unique like this, or have unique characters or interesting character designs or an interesting world or fantasy elements or whatever it is. Just to see that process, because when you look at sketches, when you look at character designs and character art or concept sketches, concept art, you get some of those little thought nuggets, I like to call them sometimes, of like, so what was that artist thinking to get to that character design? And he was speaking to it before in this video of how he came to come up with the design of that dog creature thing, that the mount of this game. And I was like, of course, right? Like, he just said it as if it was like normal, but it's like, of course you did, right? Of course that's how you came up with that character design, right? It's just, I find that insight interesting, personally. So anyway, I thoroughly enjoyed this showing. Bring it on. I can't wait to see more about it. Something about this game is really, and I know it's not just because it's a specific Xbox announcement or a win for Xbox. It's not just that. It's like, it's just, I'm happy to see the Mana series ongoing, because, you know, you've got Dragon Quest, you've got Final Fantasy, you've got the Tales, or whatever it's called, the Tales series. You got Xenoblade, whatever it is, the Xenosaga, whatever the hell it's called, and you've got Mana, right? These are the biggest, what I consider the biggest JRPGs out there. But there's something about the Mana series that always intrigues me over the others, right? Anyway, yeah, I was surprised to see this, and I'm happy that I'm happy that they announced it the way they did, where it's kind of like a bit of an intruder kind of surprise. You know, I didn't see this coming. You know, out of all the conversations that were going on, I didn't see this one coming. Right? Even when the leaks were going around, I didn't see this. You know, unless I was blind or I just wasn't paying attention. But I'm happy this wasn't sport for me. Anyway, again, with this one, let me know what you think. Are you excited for a new Mana game? What's your favorite Mana game? Have you played many over the years? To be honest, I haven't. But, you know, Secret of Mana, I'm sorry, I just think it's such an iconic game. To me personally, I think it's iconic. I know others have their favorite Mana games, which I'm just not familiar with. Some of the character designs are very interesting, but the world, I don't know what it is. There's something about Secret of Mana that is just a cut above, right? And look, I'd love the opportunity to go play the other Mana games. So I'm hoping that they come to Xbox, right? I hope this is successful and they go, okay, we have a market here. We have an audience here. Right, let's double dip. Let's move. Let's port these remakes over to Xbox as well, and let's see if we can grow a bit more of an audience over there. I think it's a bit of a no-brainer. So Visions of Mana. Oh, look, timing. It's out this year as well. Great. Excellent. Xbox Series X and PC. Nothing with Game Pass, but that makes sense. Not everything needs to be. And, I guess we can just let this running because it's going to go into a game that I personally do not have any care for. I skipped this, right? I was like, ooh, that character concept art looks amazing. What is this game going to be? Right? Who's Oxide? I'm not familiar with that developer. And it's like, wow, what a character piece. That art style, that whoever that figure was, like, looks stunning. Like, what's this game about? And then when they're talking about the Civ games, I was like, oh, okay. And I let it go a bit, and then they started showing the world map stuff, and I'm like, oh god, no. Like, seriously, how many games like this do we need? Right? Is it just me? Like, I've somehow these type of games keep getting made. Right? So there is an audience for them, but it boggles me. I couldn't think of much more of a boring game style or a gameplay loop or whatever it is, right? A game genre, whatever you want to call it. I couldn't think of anything more boring than that. Am I being a bit facetious? Yes. But seriously, how many of these type of games do they need to make? They're all the same. I don't get it. I really don't. But I'm happy for them. I'm happy for these developers that are like, yeah, look, there's people out there that like to stress themselves out with micromanagement and they love it, right? It's like a fetish or something, right? I don't get it. I don't like micromanaging. I don't like micromanaging people. I don't like the stress that it brings. I don't like, I just don't like it. It's not fun. It's not appealing to me. Zero interest, mate. Zero interest. If you have a love for this kind of game genre, good on you, right? However many licenses they're registering to sell for this game, my license that could have been allocated for me is happy to go to someone else, right? Even if I had this opportunity on Game Pass, I wouldn't even download it. No offense to the game developers or anything like that. I mean, it's a stunning looking game. It's all there, whatever. It must be very complex. They look like they're doing very well for themselves, right? So good on you. I'm just a guy on the internet saying I don't like it, and that's it. Anyway, let me know what you think about this kind of game style. Tell me I'm not alone in thinking like that process. Like, oh, really? Another one? Like, we literally had 3 of these games announced last year, I feel, or released last year. Like, seriously, how many do you need? It's the same that could be said for shooting games, man. Like, how many gun games, how many shooting games, like I mentioned for the Palworld thing, like, seriously. Anyway, I guess if I want to take away anything, it's like those people that just buy an Xbox or a PlayStation for Madden or FIFA or Call of Duty, right? There are people, I know people out there, I do know people that seriously, they bought a PS5 just to play FIFA or Madden or Call of Duty, right? And that's the game that they play every year. They buy like 3 or 4 games a year. FIFA, Madden, Call of Duty, and whatever the next WWE game is, right? Tell me you don't know someone that's like that, because there's so many. There must be, because those games make a lot of money. It's obscene. Anyway, let's move on. Enough hating on this game. Good on them. I hope they have all the success that they can muster and stomach. Right, so last thing, that we go over to machine games. So we can finally go see what this is all about with the new Indiana Jones game. Right, and I'll say, look, I think this was a very positive showing for what this is. I think it still needs a bit of polish, right? And I don't know what it is. And this is me being super critical. And I'm glad they only showed the first 3 movies, by the way. They didn't acknowledge the last 2, and those last 2 movies should be burnt and wiped from human existence. Anyway, I think my initial criticism on this game is, wow, that uncanny valley is right in front of your face, right? That they tried very, very hard, and I think they did very well in some aspects, to capture the Harrison Ford lookalike, right? The Harrison Ford isms, right? There's some mannerisms like that, in every Harrison Ford movie, there's a meme. In every Harrison Ford movie, he's always shaking his finger at someone before he talks, and they capture that in one of these showings for this game, right? But I think personally, I was hoping that it wasn't going to be in first person, right? I thought, and maybe I was wrong to think, but I thought it was going to be a third person action game, right? A third person exploration action game, puzzle game, whatever the hell you want to call it. And maybe that would have been too predictable, right? Maybe just making it like Tomb Raider or Uncharted, maybe that would have been too on the nose. Maybe they were self-aware of that, right? And now we start into the sequence, as you can see on half of the video, where, the graphics look nice, man. The graphics look smooth, they look crisp, but there's like this shimmer or this, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's just the lighting or the shading and whatnot, but it looks like a video game. And that's such a dumb criticism, I know, but it looks super crisp. And maybe that's it, right? Maybe it's just that. I'm not used to seeing like super crispy games, right? And I have been told, I haven't played the Machine Games, Wolfenstein games, but look at that. That looks like Harrison Ford, right? They did a really good job. Again, I haven't played the Wolfenstein games that these guys made, but I'm always reading or hearing about how great the games look. And this game does look amazing, right? I'm not gonna sugarcoat it or downplay that. It does look amazing. I fear that I may not be smart enough for this game, right? Or at least have the tolerance or patience, right? Because, Indiana Jones, there's a bit of detective work and proactive deduction that's required to work through puzzles and understanding riddles and all that kind of stuff. And look, that's just not me. Like I tend to just brute force my way through stuff, right? If there's a puzzle in my way, I'm just like, get out of my way. I'm just going to smash through you, right? I'm not even going to pay attention to what the puzzle is. Sometimes, but there's literally, I've had times where I'm like, I don't have time for this, and I just brute force my way through a puzzle until it works, right? Or I'll just get my wife and go, look, can you just tell me what I'm missing here? And she just knows straight away. She can see it. Maybe there's something upstairs that I need to address there. But anyway, it looks great. I think the Indiana Jones fans should be super proud and happy about this game. Again, I don't know how it plays or anything, but just off the showing that they've got here, it looks super faithful, right? And I'm glad that it's set. I'm glad they said it was set between the second movie and the last movie, right? So what are those? There's Temple of Doom, there's something, and The Last Crusade. What are the movies? Oh, sorry. Indiana Jones and the Lost Ark, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. So it's set between those last two movies that I said, which is great. Perfect, right? That's where you want to be, right? None of these Crystal Skull and the Dial of Destiny, right? Who just should never exist, and they've just ruined. And anyway, that's a whole other topic of my thoughts on what they've done to Indiana Jones over the last two movies. Anyway, it looks great. I'm super excited for it. The Great Circle. This is a good moment. If you go watch it, like, you have any idea how old that was? I actually laughed at that. That was a great moment. Look, I'm interested to play this. I think it's going to be fun. I really do. It's coming to Game Pass. Super excited about it. I had my doubts, right? I think in my last video, I was like, yeah, I don't think it's going to be good. Or I'm pretty sure it's not going to live up to whatever everybody thinks it's going to, or it'll probably be shadow announced as multi-platform or something like that. But they didn't name anything about that in the trailer. It's coming out this year. I don't think they announced a date for it, but at least we know that it's out this year. So it just means like we've got a pretty good showing here, right? I know I was pretty down on, I wasn't hyped, right? And that might have helped. That might have helped my result here, like my end thoughts, right? I wasn't really hyped for it. I didn't have high hopes, or I wasn't setting my bar too high. But after watching, I'm like, you know what? Hell yeah, man. Senua Saga, Indiana Jones, like, those are two great looking games, right? Avowed looks like it will be fun, right? Was I blown away by Avowed? No, not really, but I'm interested to play it. Senua Saga blew me away. this game is looking like it's going to be great. I think I do have my concerns though about whipping everyone. Like seriously, if you're running into Nazis and stuff and you're just whipping them, I mean, anyway, I do like that they do get you back into third person mode so you can get to see Indiana Jones at least when you're interacting with some elements or in the environment. So that's cool. I'm glad they mixed that up a bit. I'm keen to see what the story is. Like the first Indiana Jones, the Indiana Jones trilogy have great stories and they're iconic. And I hope this lead lends, what's the word I'm looking for? I hope this lives up to those previous movies. It looks like they've captured the feel and the iconography of it all, right? But proof will be in the pudding. Is the game fun, right? Hopefully the puzzles don't make people feel too dumb, right? Which is probably going to happen to me. It is what it is. But otherwise, hell yeah, bring it on. So yeah, look, that wraps up the Xbox Direct. I'll just leave this to the side and we'll continue going on and wrap up the show. But look, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, I believe it's called. Hell yeah. It could have been really bad, right? It could have been really bad. But look, let's see how the game is at launch. Hopefully the Uncanny Valley isn't, it's severely uncanny, right? The valley is there, right? And it's a bit distracting when they're trying to they get Harrison Ford's, they're trying to emulate Harrison Ford's notable face expressions and his quirks, right? Whoever the voice is, it's definitely not Harrison Ford. He doesn't sound like he's 80, but whoever the voice actor is doing a really good job, right? And that's also a balancing act, right? Because Harrison Ford's voice is very notable, right? You can notice when he's speaking, he's got that, you know that voice, right? So whoever is doing this voice work is doing a bang up job. It's very impressive. So yeah, bring it on. Anyway, that's that's my recap on the Xbox Direct. So let's just get into the last part here. Excellent. Yes. Cool. Awesome. Well, here we are. Another Chuntcast in the can. Thank you for hanging out with me and spending your time. Again, I always thank you for your time, right? As we wrap this up, I wish you thanks for your time and including me in your day. I know it sounds like I'm reading a script because it is, because I want to make sure I say it every episode. I don't want to forget and I don't want to mess up my words. All right. So feel free to follow my socials, Uncle Chunt, on major platforms or find me at unclechunt.com. Somehow I've got to fix my website. I noticed that it was down last week and I'm trying to figure out how to get it back up. I just need to hear back from my provider. They've been pretty lax. But anyway, to keep abreast of my upcoming projects and updates, you just stay peeled to my socials. I post there often enough anyway. Again, look, thanks for hanging with me. And again, at the end of this, if you haven't clicked off already, all of you who are new to the channel, I had a lot of new subscribers since last week, and my view time and views and watch time, and it's been really, really cool to see. Like, it was really cool. Well, I didn't expect it, right? I literally, I know I posted about it the other day, but I didn't expect it. Seriously, after being away for so long, I thought I'd come back and have no one watching it, or I'd have a drop in subscribers because they're like, "Oh, he's back. Yeah, he's not really doing this, so I'm just going to unsubscribe." But I didn't see any of that. If anything, it's a reverse. Like, I got 10 or 12 new subscribers or something like that from the last week, and for me, that's amazing. For me, like at this level that I'm at, one is like, oh, cool, someone else out there thought I was cool enough or enjoyed what I did enough to be like, you know what, I want to see more of this guy, right? But to have 12 of you do that, it's like, oh wow, that's like a room full of people. That's amazing to me. And to see the 1,200 views or whatever between the videos and 67 hours watch time or whatever. And I know it's going into the analytics of stuff, and it shouldn't matter, but that's just when you have to gauge success at some point and keep yourself humble about it. And to me, that's amazing. To me, that was a wild success this month, not just last week, but this month. It was awesome. So thank you very much for everybody that's new, sticking around. Hopefully we get more friends joining around and grow this year even further, right? And I'll keep doing this week to week. And I've got a good cadence now that I can actually maintain. And let's go from here, right? So thank you very much, everybody. Look, enjoy the rest of your Friday night. Enjoy your weekend. I say this at work sometimes. It's really cheesy, but it goes a long way sometimes having some cheese out there. So do whatever it is, to make a shine in your day, or do something else that makes someone else shine, right? We're all on this together. Life is hard enough as it is. If there's just something that you can do to put a smile on someone's face or just let them know you care, go and do it, right? It's not that hard. Just put your pride aside and do it, and just be well, all right? In the meantime, till all are one, and may the power protect you, Skal.